Because I would have picked the Clippers if they had done the Fred VanVleet thing, right? Like if Fred VanVleet was the pick, if they were able to, the Raptors, and maybe that wasn't on the table because the Raptors didn't do anything. So maybe you could keep calling Masai, but if Masai is not moving anybody, then what are you supposed to do? But that was like the one where it's like I could see that being or Kyle Lowry even. Like look at where the Heat are at. Like just give the Clippers Kyle Lowry. I think that would have been a much better fit, and I would have been a lot more optimistic about the Clippers winning the title. And I agree. I don't think the Clippers can win the title in 2023. The Grizzlies, number 2 on this list, Ben. Can the Grizzlies win the NBA Finals this year?
My heart and my head are in conflict here because my heart says, whoop that trick. Let's go. Grizzlies, FedEx Forum, one of the most fun places to watch a playoff game. If you get these guys rolling, they've got home court advantage through a lot of the playoffs. They have an unbelievable A-list star in John Morant. They've got shooting. They've got defensive versatility. They've got size. That all sounds like a title team to me on paper, but my head says they're not quite ready to get there. I think that they need to be nervous, how they've looked without Steven Adams. Like Steven Adams is a solid center, but he should be a guy who doesn't necessarily impact your complete trajectory of your season if he gets injured. They've been a totally different team without him. The defense is much worse. It feels like the offense hasn't really been clicking as well as it could without him. That feels like a big red flag to me. You also have Jaren Jackson Jr. constantly in foul trouble. That's going to be an issue in the postseason, of course. And then, Bane missed some time this season, and I would love to just see him have like a perfectly healthy 78-game season where he's going into the playoff with momentum and you feel great about his body, because I think he's a guy who has all-star potential, could be a big-time postseason player, but is still kind of in this question mark category just because he hasn't had that, totally lights out, prove it to everybody type season from start to finish. So people are going to point at their half-court offense. I understand there's a lot of concerns there. I mean, to me, Ja gets everywhere he wants to go at any point of a game, gets to the free throw line, gets to the rim, and gets his shooters open looks. So that's a lot to like, even though the half-court offense numbers aren't great. But I am more concerned about, team character, or if you want to call it that, in terms of, are they going in with the right momentum? Is everybody clicking on all cylinders? Did they peak a little bit too early this season? And then are they just a little too young, a little too immature? I mean, you saw it on Christmas. They get punked by the Golden State Warriors, even without Steph Curry. They've had some other big games this season. Shannon Sharp in the Lakers game kind of throws them completely off course, and they were pretty upset after that one. I guess they just need to go through the fire a little bit more is what I'm saying. They just need to have a little bit more reps in terms of big moments, how to handle themselves, and how to just kind of weather adversity. That seems to be a question for them right now. So they still feel a little bit early on the scale to me. And their guys are so young. They're all babies. So it's not like a knock on the Grizzlies. I could see them making the Western Conference Finals. I'm not sure they're going to get over the top, though.
Yeah, the half-court stuff scares me. It's also just, I don't like doing this, but I think when you build around Jaren Jackson Jr. and Ja Morant, you're just asking for, and the odds of those two being healthy for a full title run together, you can throw Desmond Bane into that group. I just don't think that's ever going to happen. I don't think the durability of those three all being on the same page for a full title run, I just don't think it's ever going to be the case. They haven't gotten to the point where they have to address these difficult concerns. But I think that's where we're at. I don't think I would ever trust it. And I think when it ends, it's going to end bad and quickly for those guys, unfortunately.
Ooh, I hope not.
I'm out on the
Let
Grizzlies.
me ask you. I can tell, and I'm surprised. So I want you to speak on behalf of Nashville, Knoxville, and the rest of Tennessee. Mm-hmm. Is this Tennessee's team, or is this strictly Memphis's team?
Memphis, 100%.
Ooh, why?
Memphis is 6 hours away from Knoxville.
Right.
Memphis is basically Mississippi and Arkansas. It's more it's not really Tennessee. It's really, I can get to North Carolina faster. I can go to Charlotte faster. I can get to Atlanta faster. I can get to, Jacksonville, Florida is basically the distance from where I'm at in East Tennessee to Memphis. So I just think it's just, Memphis has Cardinals fans, their minor league affiliates over there. It's just a lot of, it's just not. Memphis and Tennessee fans don't see eye to eye. Like, that's a big basketball rivalry. Like, it's just, Memphis feels like its own entity. So I don't think, I mean, there are some Grizzlies fans here, but there's no Grizzlies bar in Knoxville. Like, that doesn't exist. There are a lot of Titans fans, a lot of Cubs and Braves fans, but no real Memphis fans.
On the internet, Hawks fans hate the Grizzlies fans and Pelicans fans hate the Grizzlies fans, and vice versa. In your sphere, which of those three teams is like the dominant team, or none of them?
I would say, it's weird. I was with my wife last year. We were riding through one of our neighborhoods and around our house, and we're cutting through from Chick-fil-A, which is the most southern story. Way I can start it.
No, this is the biggest humble brag story I've ever seen. First of all, you're married, right? Second of all, you're going to Chick-fil-A. I mean, come on, bro. Like, you're just trying to make everybody jealous right now?
Hey, it is what it is. It's nice down here. I love East Tennessee. I love the South. But we were riding through, and there was a Pelicans flag in someone's backyard, like a big Pelicans flag. And I was just like, what? I would never have guessed to see a Pelicans flag. So I've actually seen some Pelicans fans here, but I would still say by and large of the group, it'd be Hawks. It would be Hawks here in East Tennessee.
Interesting. Well, maybe the Grizz can change this, man. If they make the finals, everybody hops on the bandwagon, or it's too ingrained?
I think it's too ingrained, but I just think it's just too far away. Like, it really does feel like a totally, like,
makes sense.
That's a commitment, man. That's a weekend. Like, Nashville, you can still get there in 2 hours and drive back 2 to 2.5. But like, Memphis is a ways, man. It is a ways.
It's LA to the Bay Area, so I totally get that. Interesting. Well, we should put this on the Grizzlies billboard. Chase Thomas and the rest of the Tennessee shows no love to the Grizzlies, John Morant. Go out there and gritty on these people and show them what's up,
Well, I'm a Hawks guy anyway. I'm originally from Atlanta. We got Doc Rivers in a Hawks uniform right here. I got Ben Matlock, Atlanta attorney legend, up there. Like, it's just, I got the Atlanta World Champs banner. It's just, I'm spoken for. There's no Grizzlies room in my fandom heart, Ben. It just doesn't exist. And also, the Hawks made a late season coaching change. They're back. Like, the Hawks are going to the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't know if you're ready for this, but the Big Eight, they're ready. Trae Young dunking on Atlanta sports radio hosts, like, just out of nowhere, just really, really going after guys. Like, he's fired up. Quinn Snyder entering the building late. Top 10 coach, top 5 coach maybe in this league. Gobbles up regular season wins. Wide open East outside of the Bucks, who I think are winning the title anyway. Like, yeah, I think it's right there. The Hawks, you don't want, like, if I am just begging Hawks Sixers in round 1, if the Hawks can get to the 6 seed, if Quinn Snyder can bring them to 6, which is not out of the question, you get Hawks Sixers, I might just put, like, my entire life savings on the Hawks beating the Sixers in round 1.
Ooh. Wow. Well, I was at the Game 7 in 2021, one of the funniest games I've ever been to, because, Doc Rivers, who you've got on your little backdrop, I have really never heard a coach in that setting start selling the expectation games as hard as he did before the game. It felt like preemptive excuses. And then they should have won the game, but then they just completely melt down. Ben Simmons doesn't want to make the dunk. Embiid has all these turnovers and missed shots. Trae Young didn't even really play that well, and yet he was still, like, unstoppable according to the Philadelphia 76ers defense. Everybody on Philly disappears. And the crowd, I mean, they had talked themselves into the fact that they were going to win. By the end of it, I thought they were going to burn the jerseys on the court. Like, it was that angry of a scene. And it's really the closest they've been since then. So, there would be some real ghosts in that particular matchup. And Trae Young would probably treat them like he treated the Knicks, in terms of, wanting to be the spoiler, going in with some confidence. And certainly they wouldn't be able to guard Trae as well as Miami guarded Trae last year. So I'm not sure I could get all the way there with you. But I'll say this. I want to see it because I would laugh if it happened again.
I was unbearable at this Jacksonville bar for Hawks Sixers in Game 7. Like, went in with my
sounds about right.
Yeah, there were some Philly fans all around. I was like, came in and I was like, it's over. Like, I walked in, I was like, it's over. I don't know why y'all are here. This is done. I got the Heinrich jersey on. Like, I'm ready to go.
Wow.
Like, this was over. Like, I had no concerns. I was like, they're self-destructing. It's over. And it was a lot of fun. But that feels like forever ago because it's been a rough 2 years since the Eastern Conference Finals run for the Hawks. But Ben, there is another team that I want to ask you. It's a team that we just talked about. the Philadelphia 76ers. We don't need to bring in Andrew Sharp for this question because I'm going to go ahead and say Andrew Sharp's not picking James Harden to win the NBA championship this year. It's just my guess, my hunch on this one. Big Golliver, though. Can the Sixers actually win the NBA title this year?
I don't see it, man. I don't see it. Embiid's having a great year, and I give him a lot of credit for not just like quitting on his entire existence after the way the last like 7 or 8 years have gone. I mean, he's always second. Like this guy's the Marsha. Marsha did it again. Marsha. Nicolo did it again. Nicolo.